culprit the environment is.
Let me explain a little bit. You bring a child to church, and most children are going to sit there quietly and not be terribly active. You bring a child out to the playground, going to be running all over the place. So the setting makes a difference, and there's no relationship there between eating that food and being normally active.
Dr. Kleiman says there's a big difference between kids who are just hyper and kids who have been diagnosed with hyperactivity or attention deficit disorder.
Here too, however, there isn't a relationship between dyes in the food, sugar in the food, and the level of activity that these children exhibit. And most researchers and clinicians who take care of children with attention deficit and hyperactivity feel that way.
So sugar doesn't make your kids go hyper, but how much should they eat? My next port of call is to Boston-based nutritionist Deborah Wein. When it comes to sugar and kids, she gets worried.
I think that it's contributing to obesity and overweight, and then we're seeing a greater incidence of diabetes and other consequences of obesity.
Not to mention tooth decay. Kids who eat too much sugar start craving it, a consequence of their blood sugar levels continually rising and falling. The solution, says Dr. Wein, is moderation.
You know, moderating the amount of sugars would be great. Substituting some healthier snacks, limiting just portions would be great. I mean, I think as parents, our role is to really give our children healthy options, look at good quality, then let them choose quantity. When it comes to sugar and that kind of things, it's more of, you know, this is a treat, it's something special, it's not something that we do on a regular basis.
Sounds like sensible advice to me. Well, there you go. Sugar does not cause children to become hyperactive, although I'm sure there are some parents who may find that difficult to believe. One thing everybody agrees on is that lollies should always be a treat, and for health reasons, eaten only in moderation. Childhood obesity is a major issue. It's estimated 25% of Aussie kids are overweight or obese. And unless parents force dietary changes on their kids, the percentage will continue to climb. By the year 2020, on current trends, up to 40% of children will be overweight or obese.
Still to come.
There is danger ever present.
What's the best way to treat a blue bottle sting?
Ready for this, Andrew? No.
Dr. Rochford steps into the firing line to find out.
Hey, what's good for you?
In Melbourne, our hangover testers are returning to their hotel after a night of clubbing and drinking. Now, under the rules of the test, the girls can go straight to bed. Back at the club, Monica was allowed a water chaser for every glass of wine. That's her cure.
I don't think I'm going to have a hangover. Night, night.
Felicity gets to test her cure in the morning, a greasy breakfast. But this is where the boys enter the hangover lab. Justin polishes off a sports drink before hitting the sack. Andrew's popping a couple of headache tablets before he curls up between the sheets. And Brandon, well, his hangover cure is a pretty popular one. He's downing a full litre of water before crashing out. Nighty-night, kids. And little do they know it, but our guinea pigs are about to experience the first signs of their approaching hangover: poor sleep.
There's really not much to be done about the effect of alcohol on the body during the sleep time. Alcohol suppresses the brain during consumption, and then as a person goes to bed and the alcohol wears off, the brain pops back up, almost like pushing down on a spring and then letting loose. It may not be enough to wake the person from sleep, but it certainly keeps you from getting into deep sleep.
Now, if we were nice, we'd let our guinea pigs have a little sleep in tomorrow morning. Sorry, guys. You know we can't do that.
Did your mama tell you what's good for you?
Yet another perfect day for hanging out at the beach. And it's great to know that when it gets a little bit too hot, we can nip just over there for a nice cool down. But as anyone who's grown up on our beaches can tell you, there is danger ever present. There's always a chance that when you go swimming, you could fall victim to a sting from the dreaded blue bottle. Now, for those of you who haven't actually had the pleasure of being stung by a blue bottle, I can tell you from personal experience, it's a bit like an electric shock. It stings, it burns, it makes you want to scratch your own skin off. Oh, and did I mention the pain? Well, that's intense. These ancient mariners have been trawling the seas for hundreds of years. They blow onto beaches with onshore winds and sting anyone who dares get in their way. I hear you know a fair bit about these old things, the blue bottle.
A little bit, yes.
Grant Willis is a marine biologist working at the Sydney Aquarium. He's got the gloves on today and he's going to need them. So how does the blue bottle sting you?
How do they sting? Okay. Big long fishing tentacle. There's a whole series of, like a string of little balls held together by a rubbery tube. Each one of those little things on contact with a fish or a person, whatever it may be, just grabs and stings.
Take Ironwoman Crystal Smith. She had a nasty encounter with a swarm of blue bottles just last year.
I sort of swam into a big bunch of blue bottles and if anyone knows if they've been stung by a blue bottle, they'll know how painful it is. I had about 4 or 5 wrapped around my back and under both my arms. Yeah, I was in a lot of pain and it looked very painful too.
When blue bottles sting, they release a powerful toxin, which is most often localised. But the venom has been known to travel to people's armpits and groins via the bloodstream. 4 people in the Northern Hemisphere have died as a result of the severe swelling caused by blue bottle stings.
I've been stung by a blue bottle. Yeah, I'm George. Take a seat down here.
Now, what's the best way to treat a blue bottle sting?
Oh, it really stings. Yep.
The international life-saving standard is to use an ice pack.
They will just hold that on there for you.
The ice helps to control the spread of the poison, but it also helps to make it feel a lot better, a lot more comfortable, so the patient is not as much in distress.
But is there a better way? I'm heading back to the aquarium to put myself in the firing line. Now this is going to sound crazy, but I've actually volunteered myself to have a close encounter with a blue bottle. I'm going to have myself stung, not once, not twice, but 5 times. Why 5 times? Well, I've got 5 commonly used cures on standby. Sand, vinegar, ice, an over-the-counter blue bottle sting cream, and hot water. I'm a brave, very stupid man. My old mate Grant has volunteered himself to administer the stings. I'm doing okay. Now, what's your favourite treatment when it comes to blue bottle stings?
Well, I've had my grandmother hold me down and rub sand in it, and I don't think that did much at all, made me cry louder. Yeah. But I've always used ice. That's all I've ever used.
So you're an ice man?
Yeah.
All right. Just like the lifesavers. But are they right?
All right, mate, so...
The blue bottles are ready for battle. But what about me?
Righto, Andrew, this is going to be fun.
Can you stop smiling, Grant, please?
Righto, ready for this, Andrew?
No.
Okay, here we go. Very nice veins there to pump that poison around in, so hopefully this will get him good.
Oh. It's like someone's just put a hot poker on my foot. The pain is excruciating. And the worst part? I've still got 4 stings to go. Yeah. This just became ridiculous. Oh, that's a good one.
Looks like Andrew's in a spot of bother there. Those blue bottles really mean business. And you would be amazed to know just how long their tentacles can be. I'll tell you after the break. Plus...
Mine didn't work that well.
The verdict on hangovers.
That's strange.
We found no evidence to see that that actually supports suppressing the hangover symptoms.
Question: how long can blue bottles extend their tentacles? Well, some have been known to grow over 50 metres. That's a powerful reach indeed. What's the best hangover cure? Our 5 brave volunteers are waking up in Melbourne, and it's not a good look.
Oh, no.
Like it or not, these guys have to grin and bear it today. Felicity's yet to have her hangover fix, the greasy breakfast.
Oh, bacon and eggs looks pretty good right now.
Are you going to eat all that?
There's no time to lose. It's off to the lab again to take a second blood test to reveal everybody's C-reactive protein, or CRP levels, after all that alcohol.
Good morning. How are you guys?
Any CRP increase means that particular hangover cure has not been effective.
Yeah, having a hangover and getting your blood taken at the same time, it's not something I recommend.
Blood sample 2 is in the bag. The results are sent off to our man in New Orleans, hangover expert Dr. Weiss. A couple of weeks later, our volunteers reassemble to hear who's done best and who's done worst. First up is Brandon. Remember, his hangover cure was to drink a litre of water before going to bed.
So my C protein levels before were 2.1 and after 2.6.
Taking a large gulp of water before bedtime did nothing to suppress his hangover.
Drinking lots of water just results in much more urination. The kidney can't hold on to that fluid.
I picked probably one of the worst hangover cures because mine didn't work that well.
Now, what about Monica? She also drank water, but not all at once like Brandon. 1 glass of H2O for every glass of alcohol at the club.
CRP levels before 1.9, after 1.9, just as I thought.
Monica felt fine the morning after, and this is why.
So you have good hydration over the course of the evening while consuming. When impurities come in, the kidney has the ability to flush out, and that's probably the reason that she felt the best the following day.
So drinking water in between every drink is definitely the way to go, and that's what I'll be doing from now on.
Next up is Andrew. He popped a couple of headache tablets before going to bed.
Okay, my CRP levels were 0.6 before and 0.6 after.
Another good result.
Taking the anti-inflammatories for him stopped that inflammation before it snowballed out of control.
Now it's Justin's turn. He knocked back a sports drink before bed.
My CRP levels were 1.9 before and 1.9 after.
The third unchanged reading in a row, thanks to the solutes and electrolytes in the sports drink. It prevented dehydration from making Justin's hangover worse. Finally, it's Felicity's turn.
That's strange.
Her results had to be discounted. A viral infection in her body caused an abnormal CRP reading.
I do have an upset stomach now and then, so it's probably got to do with that.
Despite the glitch, Dr. Weiss had this to say of Felicity's bacon and eggs hangover cure.
We found no evidence to see that that actually supports suppressing the hangover symptoms.
So 3 of our participants, Justin, Monica and Andrew, managed to keep their hangovers under control. Dr. Weiss suggests the best way to minimise your next hangover is to combine all of those. Drink water or sports drinks as you go, and take a couple of headache tablets before bed, although you should check with your doctor if you're worried about side effects. As for lost sleep,
and really the only thing that you can do there, if you have the luxury, is to sleep in a little longer the following morning to try to catch up on some of the sleep that you've lost during the night.
There is one more thing you can do, and that's to look at the level of impurities in certain types of alcohol.
These impurities that are a part of the alcohol fermentation are known as congeners. And as a general rule of thumb, the clearer the liquor and the more expensive the liquor, the fewer the congeners. So choosing the alcohol wisely, that is clear liquors, gin, rum, vodka, as opposed to scotch, dark wines, dark beers, will offset some of the severity of the hangover.
So there you are. If you drink too much, you will wake up with a hangover. We've outlined a few strategies to help minimise the impact, but remember, please do drink in moderation. You'll be so much happier and healthier as a result. Now, if you'd like to find out more about hangovers, have a look at our website, 9msn.com.au/what's good for you. If you think that drinking sparkling mineral water is somehow going to be better for you than regular H2O, think again. Studies show there are no real health benefits from drinking the bubbly stuff. But by all means drink it, if you prefer the taste. Still to come, the pain continues.
Has that made anything instant?
Even after we start on the remedies.
There's still plenty of sting and burning there. It's actually starting to tingle down my arm now.
What's good for you? Did your mama tell you what's good for you?
This isn't funny. Why is this funny?
I'm in the middle of a very painful experiment.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm trying to establish the best way to treat blue bottle stings.
Oh, yeah, that is good.
But to make the experiment work, I've got to be stung 5 times.
Is that part of it still sticking out of me? Could be. There is too, look at that. That's one of the most important things, is to get all the stings off.
Ah, yeah, it is.
4 more stings to go before I can start on the treatments.
Got a nice big one here for you, Andrew.
Yeah, there you go. Ah.
Got ya?
Yeah. Ow.
Back of your shoulder here.
Thankfully, this is the last sting.
Yeah. Ah. That one got me.
Good work.
Oh, that last sting was a doozy. I'm hurting all over.
So now I'm covered in 5 very painful stings, and they're really starting to sting now. So what we need to do is we need to test which of these 5 cures is actually going to work.
Righto, one of the theories is rubbing sand on it.
First up, the sand.
So, let's see, there you go.
It's making it worse.
I can't imagine why anyone thought sand might help.
Let's get on to the next one.
Vinegar's next. And this stuff is very effective on box jellyfish stings. But what about blue bottle bites?
It's not really doing much.
In fact, I can't feel any difference at all. Bring on the ice.
It actually makes it feel better. But I think it's just because it feels cold.
Remember, ice is the Surf Lifesavers' preferred treatment.
The ice has actually soothed that a little bit, but I don't know whether I can say it's actually a cure.
Sting site number 4. Treatment number 4, the sting cream.
Yeah, we'll just rub that on there.
Has that made anything instant?
It's actually working okay. That's worked surprisingly well.
But for how long?
Well, initially it felt better. Now it actually feels worse.
It took all of 30 seconds for the cream to go from 0 to 0.
Sting, but there's still plenty of sting and burning there. It's actually starting to tingle down my arm now.
Okay, 1 treatment left now, the hot water.
Righto, mate, here's your bucket of hot water. We'll see how this goes.
Fantastic.
It's not too hot, so you're not going to burn.
Yeah.
How's that?
No, it feels better.
Yeah, really?
It's sort of, you can still feel the pain there, but it's just taken a bit of the bite out of it because it was starting to really burn and sting.
This is just hot water, straight out of a tap.
As hot as you can stand without burning the skin, I suppose, you don't want to burn yourself. Thanks, mate.
Cheers, mate. Sorry to have to do it to you.
I'm sure you are.
Now, it normally takes about an hour for a blue bottle sting to settle down. But the worst part is in the first 15 minutes, so that's the period I want to test.
Okay, so 5 stings, 15 minutes of each of these cures, and now I'm going to let you know exactly what I think of each of them. So we started off, I had a little bit of sand on the arm, and that just made it worse. It was like rubbing sandpaper on my arm and did nothing really for the sting.
So how does it measure up on the Rochford Painometer? Well, I'm giving the sand -2 out of 10. The vinegar scores 1, useless. The ice was definitely a cut above. It scores 6. And the cream? Sorry, did nothing for me. Last but not least,